Hi, Akshay.
Hi, Ananya.
And hi, everyone. And welcome to another episode of the Breakdown Besties Podcast, where we break down scripts and films just like you would in film school, giving ourselves and you the education we didn't quite receive. Together, we have about 14 years of experience writing for Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, with shows like Inside Edge, Rana Naidu, Mismatch, Wedding.com, Ishq in the Air under our belt. Today we will be looking at the scene film breakdown of Badmaash Company 2010, written and directed by Parmeet Sethi. Do you want to go into character?
Yeah, let's do the character.
Mhm. Yeah. So, in terms of technique, when it comes to character, I have two techniques which I noticed, which I want to point out.
Okay.
The first is Shahid's character in the opening itself,
Hmm.
where they establish it. We went over this technique in, I think, Koi Mil Gaya, but because I found it here, I want to point out techniques because even if it's repetitive, it shows that it works.
Of
That's
course. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Shahid's character, when they're all in the cab in the very opening of the film, and
Hmm.
Chang and Vedas's character at the back, and Shahid's character's in the front and Chang and Vedas are arguing about their grades and stuff like that. And then they say like, "Hey Shahid, what about you?" And they're like, "Hey, ye to top karega." And what it does is it sets up the character from the other character's perspective.
Hmm.
So if other people are calling him smart, the character is assumed to be smart. So this is again, other people like them, that trait.
Hmm. Yeah.
And what I like about other people liking them as a trait, while it is tell not show,
Uh,
what it does is it saves you a whole scene of having to show the character smart because
yeah.
you have other characters buy in. You
Yeah.
avoid the whole scene and the audience kind of believes them.
Right.
So I think this is a very economic tool and technique.
And this works. Like
Yeah.
this works, and how? I'll tell you the best example of that, which
Yeah.
was in Fleabag. This happened
Okay.
where, so she is now starting to hang out with the priest. This is in season
Hmm.
two.
Yeah.
Okay, and Andrew Scott at that time we knew him as Moriarty from Sherlock, so
Yeah.
we have a different
Let it
image of him.
change. Yeah.
But the thing is that now we have to start seeing him as this hot priest. So
Yeah.
when he's walking, she makes it go like, oh, his arms, his
Yeah.
neck, you
Neck.
know,
Yeah.
and oh, his neck, and like
Hmm.
that immediately, like what you said, that the character likes him, so we as an audience now start
Yeah.
feeling that shift, and
Yeah.
I quite like the technique.
Yeah, I think it just taps into psychology, right? That we're such like sheep
Yeah.
as human beings. Like we have no original thoughts. That's why we're so easily manipulated. That if someone's like, "Oh yeah, this is great," unless you have like a strong experience that contradicts the same, like you're like, "Yeah, sure, this is great. But what evidence do I have to the contrary? I believe you."
It's the oh, this is popular. Yeah, this is popular. Like
Popular. This is great. Love it. So,
yeah.
yeah, that is one technique. And another technique I liked was this comes very fleetingly,
Hmm.
but it's about establishing a solid relationship between people that dates back like years. How do you do that quickly? And you do that by establishing familiarity between the characters. So
Hmm.
they do this well in this scene where Shahid wants to take Anushka out, and he goes to Vedas's character for the car and
Hmm.
he asks for the car and Vedas lies and says it's not working. And Shahid immediately calls him out and he's like, I know you stutter when you lie, so like quit doing this. And he's like,
Hmm.
I'll pay you back now. I'll give you like a tank full, like your tank full with gas. And he's like, I know you don't have like two pennies to rub together.
Hmm.
So it shows that they have a friendship that dates back because they have all this to build, all this experience to build on. So I
Hmm.
think that's a great technique to show a relationship which has been running a long time is to show their
Hmm.
familiarity with each other, show that they know each other so well that
Yeah.
only two people who go back so long could know each other.
Hmm. That's very interesting. I almost forgot about that moment because it seemed a little insignificant, but now that you mention it, it obviously is so important because that becomes the falling out as well. It comes back later.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. One more thing about Shahid's character, which I thought was interesting that they did, was that the first time he's going through the port authority. No, this actually happened when he first met Anushka's character. He does the cross thing,
Cross.
you know,
Yeah.
and then when he's going through the airport metal detector, that's again
Yeah.
he does that, and
Yeah.
and they bring it in the very end when he
And
sees her
yeah.
pregnant. I do think they could have done it a little more.
For sure,
Like,
yeah, because it was
yeah,
a character trait, so we should have
yeah,
seen him do it. But
yeah.
now that we've gone there, let's get into that a little bit. It
Hmm.
shows that he's a nervous kid, right?
Hmm.
But through
Yeah.
the arc, he stops doing it because he stops being nervous. He literally says,
Hmm.
I am God, right? So God
Hmm.
doesn't need to cross his fingers. So I think
Hmm.
it was quite intentional that he stops doing it. They haven't focused on it. What they should have done is ideally, for example, had two bank scenes. In one bank scene, he's waiting to get the loan, maybe at the start of the film, where he does this, and then you have the later bank scene where they're scamming them, and his fingers are completely uncrossed, or he's tapping on, maybe like being very confident. So that
Yeah.
would have really been a good visual moment of his arc. Because back
Yeah.
when he's with Anushka, his confidence has gone again. He's back to
Yeah.
being a bit of a nervous kid. So that's why this comes back.
Yeah.
But that
I do
is,
think what you're saying, if at the time of the first scam, if they
yeah,
would have shown that, it would have like been nicer. And
nice.
at the
Yeah,
at the bank scene, they could have just focused on his hands a little bit, like
yeah,
very steady on the bench or
exactly.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, like not
Like
hidden under the table, just there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that would
So
have been a stronger motive throughout the film.
yeah, definitely a good symbol. So
Hmm.
yeah, for sure. But the attempt was made, so it was there. It was
Yeah.
there. I think maybe this was not the they just didn't have the time to get the shot of his hand, or it was
Yeah.
forgotten. Like the pickup was not taken.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. You never
Hmm.
know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I have about character. Do you have anything more?
But one more thing about the interesting thing about characters was the first time see the four of them together is in the aeroplane,
Hmm.
and we immediately understand the three of their characters, all the boys. Is like, we see the boy is like Chang's character is excited about the free alcohol in the flight.
Yeah.
Uh, Veer Das's character, they do that scuttling from left to right so that he can sit next to Anushka Sharma's character.
Yeah.
And Shahid Kapoor's character almost seems unfazed by anything, all these
Yeah.
petty wants of life. But again, my grouse is with Anushka's character.
What
What,
even the
like, it's just they want to force her to be quirky, so she's doing that.
I know.
But
There's no payoff of it later.
no
She's
payoff at ever. It's not
mm,
like they mentioned she has trouble sleeping in a hotel room. Like nowhere, like
no,
nothing.
no. She
And
just goes and sleeps on the
yeah,
airplane floor because she's different. वो किसी की
and
सुनती नहीं है.
I'll just say, guys, please don't do this. Like,
Yeah, no,
don't force a quirk,
no.
like, where it's
If
just,
there's not going to be a payoff of it, don't
uh,
do it.
don't
Like
do it.
it
And
is.
yeah, and I just feel like it's a disservice to the female character. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't do that uh adjacent scene with any of the male characters. Like, all
Mm-hmm.
of the other characters, like, opening shots were in line with who they were.
Yeah.
This seemed very extraneous, very,
Yeah.
it almost felt like it belonged in a sitcom like 30 Rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, because they have all these like farcical moments which come and go fleetingly, but
Yeah.
this is your introduction to her. Like, you
Her.
shouldn't do
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Exactly. Something very relevant to her needs to come in.
Yeah,
Sure.
correct.
But that being said, I would like to segue into something relevant about her, which they have used, and
Mm,
that is the Chekhov's gun trope, where you set
mm,
up a gun and you have to use the gun later, right? And
right.
here it is Bulbul's scissor. I think it's a very sweetly done move where she's putting a scissor through security. And they're like, bro,
Yeah,
you can't take the scissor with you. And you're like, okay, fine, whatever. But then later, when she gets propositioned at the modeling agency, she pulls out the scissor. You don't see her stab
yeah,
the guy, but you kind of know
yeah,
what's happened. So I thought
correct.
that was a nice setup and payoff, good Chekhov's gun move.
Yeah.
And I think they've done this in a few moments. They've set up the 25-year honoring of Shahid's dad award, and then they've
Hmm.
used it later. They've set
Yeah,
up the I only use coffee. I only let my boyfriend or my husband pay for coffee, and then she
coffee.
brings that back. So
Yeah.
this Chekhov's gun moment, scene, symbols are quite well used across the film.
I agree. Like a lot of
Mm.
the scenes do have setup and payoff, like
Yeah.
nicely
Yeah.
planned.
Hi. If you enjoyed that clip of Badmaash Company and you want to watch the entire breakdown, head over to our YouTube channel where we have the whole episode for you. Link in bio, and we'll see you soon.